Hello friends, welcome back to Digitalk. So finally, Oracle WebLogic Server 4120 released with a lot of changes, okay, in terms of functionalities and some of the graphical user interface as well. Okay, so I'm going to create a series on all of the changes, whatever the modifications or update that we have received in this 14.102 version. Okay, so specifically in this session, I'm going to cover one important change that is the administration console. Okay, so the traditional administration console that we have been seeing so far till 14.10 version is not supported. Okay, that means you will no longer able to access the same traditional admin console. So you have to use the WebLogic remote console instead of that. Okay, so I have posted a video on this WebLogic remote console earlier as well. This is an open source tool from the Oracle. Okay, and with the help of this particular tool, you can register the multiple domains. Okay, in this single tool. Okay, so that means with the help of this tool, you can able to manage the multiple WebLogic consoles. However, when we talk about it traditionally, for each and every domain, we have a separate admin console. Okay, that means whenever we need to move or switch between the different admin consoles, so we have to open the multiple browsers and then we navigate between them. But with the help of this WebLogic remote console, you can register the multiple domains in a single window. This is one of the major change that we have in the WebLogic server 14.120. Okay, so we'll talk about the certification metrics. Okay, a new feature, as I said, I'm going to create a series. Okay, this is the first video on that where I am covering this WebLogic remote console. Okay, and I will give you a bit idea on the if there are any changes in terms of the installation and domain configurations as well. Right. So first thing, when we talk about the certification specifically with the WebLogic, okay. So this WebLogic is a base application server for multiple middleware products, okay, like the SOA Suite, ODI, IDM, okay. And for that, you have a different certification metrics. So I'm not going on that, which is specifically for the middleware. I'm talking about specifically to WebLogic server. So here you can see the screen, this WebLogic server 14102, okay, 120. Okay, for this particular version, you have the JDK version 17.0.12 plus or 21.0.4 plus. So these are the supported JDK versions. Okay, that means 17 or 21. Okay, and specifically in 17 and 21, 12 plus in the 17 and 4 plus in the 21 version. These are the supported JDK versions. Okay, specifically in the WebLogic. Okay, and if you would like to see the certification metrics, you can go to this particular link. Okay, you can just search for the Fusion certification metrics on the Google browser, and okay, and then you will land up on the certification metrics screen. Let me show you. So this is the certification metrics screen. Okay, so here we have a certification metrics for the different middleware component. Okay, now to look for the certification metrics, you can click on this one. Okay, so here you will download an Excel sheet. This is the certification metrics, and here if you see inside the client, okay, this is the WebLogic server 14.120. Okay, and here corresponding to this, you can see the JDK is 17.0.12 plus and 21.0.4 plus. These are the supported version on the 64-bit operating system. Okay, so as I said, this is this WebLogic server is a base application server for multiple middleware products. Okay, and you can see this in the different tabs of this certification metrics. Okay, and even inside this particular client tab, okay, you will see a different products and the corresponding certification metrics. Okay, so now we are specifically talking about the Oracle WebLogic server only. So the corresponding JDK support is, as I said, it is 7.0.12 plus and 21.0.4 plus. So this is how you can validate the certification metric specifically for what is the supported JDK, right? So this is the first thing that you can check for the certification metrics. And second, as I said, this is the major change in your 14.120 where you don't have access to the traditional administration console. Instead of that, you have to use the WebLogic remote console. Okay, that means you have to download a separate utility, okay, which is an open source utility from Oracle. And after downloading, you have to start this, and then you have to access this to access the your domain, right? So now to download the 14.120 version, okay, it's the same process. You have to go to the edelivery.oracle.com, right? So here you can create your free account if you do not have an account. And once you have logged in, you will end up on this search screen. So here to search for the WebLogic server, okay, you can select here the release, and then you can search for the WebLogic server. Okay. and then in the search box, click on Oracle WebLogic Server. So here all the versions will be listed here. Okay, whatever the version you would like to download, you have to click on that. So we are going with the 14.120. You can click on 14.120. Along with that, you can search for the JDK as well. Okay, because as I said, the Oracle 17 and then Oracle 21 JDKs are now supported. So you can click here as well. For example, if you would like to download the 17.013, click on 17.013. Okay, it will be added in your cart, which you can see from here. Click on continue. Okay, and here you can select the platform. For example, if you are going to download for Windows, then you have to select the Windows. Okay, this is the same way we download other software from the Oracle website. Click on continue. Okay, and here you have to select on the agreement. Click on continue. Okay, and here you can click on the download option. So once you will click on the download, a small file will be downloaded in your system. Okay, and in that window you can open that one. For example, this is the file which has been downloaded. Click on this one. Okay, and here it will you have to select the directory and click on next. So it will start downloading. Okay, so it is already downloaded in my system, so I'm not going to download again. So I'm going to cancel it. Right, and if you would like to download it on the Unix, then you can click on this wget options. After that, a script will be downloaded. That script you can download in your Linux system. Okay, and run that script, and then your software will directly download on your Linux machine. So this is how we can download the Oracle 12.120 version along with the JDK. Right. So once it is downloaded, you can see here the number of the softwares. Okay, here you can say for WebLogic we have the V104531, and for JDK this is 21 JDK. We have a 10455505. Similarly, you have a different numbers for each and every version that you are going to download from the eDelivery. So this is a straightforward way to download the software, okay, from the eDelivery website of the Oracle. Right. So now after the downloading, you have to install. So installation, as I said, installation of the WebLogic version 14.102 is straightforward as we have the earlier versions. There is no difference in that. Okay, all the same screen, welcome screen. Then you have to skip for the auto updates. You have to select for the middleware directory, and then the final screen you have to select the WebLogic server. Okay, and then you have to click on the next, and then it will install the WebLogic server. Right. So let me show you this as well. So I have downloaded the this is the location where I have downloaded. Okay, and this is the installer file. So let me go to this location and let me show you as well. So this is the location in my system. So the command is same, java-jar, and then the name of your installer. Okay, it will do some pre-checks and then the installer will get started. Okay, and after that you will see the same screen. Okay, there is no difference in the installation. It's the same as I said. Whatever the process that we have been following previously, the same process you have to follow for the installation, and there is no change on the even on the screen as well. Okay, all the options are same. There is no difference in the installation. Right, you can see this is the screen, first screen, welcome screen. Click on next. So here you have to select for the skip auto updates. Click on next. So here you can select the middleware home directory wherever you would like to install the WebLogic. Okay, let me take it as a template. Okay, then click on next. Okay, so this is giving an error. So let me take some different location. Okay, and click on next. So I have already installed one WebLogic there. It may give you error. Okay, so let me take some different location. So let me create a folder here and WLS 14.1.2. Okay, let me take this location. Click on open and then click on next. And then click on next. It will do some pre-checks. Click on next. After that, you can see the summary of the component that is going to be installed and click on install. And this will install the WebLogic server. So there is no difference, okay, in the installation. Right. So next is to create the domain. Right. So creation of domain is also same with few differences. Okay. For example, if you can see, this is the traditional screen when we go for the domain mode configuration in the WebLogic. Okay, we have two more domain development mode and production mode, right? So this is the traditional prior to the 14.1.2. Now, if you go to 14.1.2, okay, you will see some difference here. You will see that when you click on the production mode, then you have some different options here. You can see domain mode development, and inside the development, you can see, let me zoom it. So here you can see the domain mode development, and then it will automatically give you some more options: enable or disable default port for your domain. Okay, and here you will have option for enabling the listen port, enabling the SSL listen port, and enabling the admin port. Similarly, when you click on the production, okay, and in production, this mode will be selected automatically, which is the SSL. This is the screen. If you go for the production mode, then the enabling the SSL mode will automatically get selected, and your admin port will also get selected by default. You have option to disable this. If you are going in a production mode and if you would like to disable this secure mode, then you can click on the disable secure mode, and this the secure mode will get disabled, but this is not recommended now in production. Okay, so this is one of the change specifically in terms of the domain mode configuration. So if I go and let me show you these options as well. Okay, so this is the location. Okay, let me go here. So let me start the configuration wizard. So this is my WebLogic installation location. Let me go to Oracle common, then bin. Okay, so here we have a config.cmd in the Windows. Okay, so let me initiate the configuration wizard to create the domain. Okay, and let me show you the difference. So here, this is the default screen to create the domain. This is the location for the domain. So I'm going to select the default location. Click on next. So here you will see the WebLogic server 14120 template. Go with the default. Okay, this is the same screen that we have been seeing in the so far in the other versions as well. So here you have to provide the username and password for the admin console, right? So now this is the screen I was talking about. If you are in development mode, okay, then there is no SSL is enabled by default. Okay, only the listen port is enabled. Okay, which is the non-SSL port, and this is the default JDK location, whatever you have installed, right? So if you select the production mode, now you see that when I'm in development mode, the SSL mode is disabled. Okay, only non-SSL port is enabled. When you click on the production mode, then your SSL will also be enabled. If you would like to enable the non-SSL port, then you can click on here as well. Okay, and apart from that, the SSL will also be get enabled for you. You have option to select the disable the secure mode here, but this is not the recommended, right? So for production mode, it is not recommended to go with the non-SSL. Okay, so you have option, either you can disable it or enable it, right? So if you would like to enable the non-SSL port, then you can click on this one, then click on next, and then you have the same screen. If you would like to specify the configurations of admin server, node manager, and you would like to modify the topology, like to add the admin server clusters and all these things, you can select all these things. This is the same as we have in the previous versions. Click on next. So here you can modify the admin server configurations, like the server name. You have to select the listen address, and here you can modify the port if required. Click on next. So default node manager configuration is the same. There is no difference in this as well per domain. Okay, so here you can specify the username and password for your domain. Okay, click on next. And here if you would like to add the manage server, you can click on the manage server, and you can add the as much as manage server you need. Click on next. Here you can add the cluster. Next, you can skip the server template. Okay, so that dynamic server you can skip and click on next. This is the cluster. You can assign your manage server to cluster. Right, if you would like to add the machine, then you can add a machine. Okay, then click on next, and here you can assign your manage server to your machine. Click on next. Now you see the configuration is ready, and you can click on create. This will create your domain. Okay, so now in a nutshell, what we are talking about is if there are any changes, okay, in the 14.20 version in comparison with the previous versions. So there is no specific change apart from one of the screen that we have seen, which is for the domain mode configuration, right? So let me go to the screen again. So this is the screen where we will see the changes in the domain configuration. This is for enabling the SSL. So this is one of the change when you will create a configuration domain using the configuration wizard. So let me cancel this because I already have a domain, right? So what we have seen so far is, let me recap again. We have seen the certification metrics, how you can validate the certification metrics and the certified JDK, which is 17.0.12 plus and then 21.0.4 plus. And then what we have seen that now the traditional admin console is not there. So you have to use the WebLogic remote console. So I'm going to show you how to download and install and run, and then how to register your console with this particular remote console tool. Okay, then we have seen how to download the software from the e-delivery of the Oracle. But we have seen that there is no difference in the installation. Then in the domain creation, we have seen only the difference on the screen where we have to configure the domain mode. Right. So this is done. Now, after creation of the domain, once you will start your admin server, okay, and after that you will try to access your admin server the way traditionally we access it, with the help of local host or maybe whatever the DNS or IP of your machine along with the 7001 port, then you will land up on this screen. Okay, which is specifically saying administration of WebLogic server is performed using the WebLogic remote console. The original admin console is no longer supported in WebLogic 4120 version and has been removed. That means you have to install. This is the link to download you will see. Okay, so let me show you. So let me go to the my domain. So let me, where is my domain? Okay, this is my domain for 14.12. Okay, let me see where exactly it is. Okay, so this is the domain, and so here I have to go to the bin directory, and then sorry, let me go to the domain directory. Okay, this is the domain. Let me go to bin. So here first I will let me start the node manager. Okay, and then let me go here again, and let me start my admin server. Okay, so this is going to start my admin server, this which we have created in development mode. So it is not going to prompt me the username and password. So whenever we have the domain in the production mode, so we have to manually create the boot.properties file. Otherwise, it will keep prompting us for username and password whenever we are going to start our admin server. Now it is up and running. So now if I go here and if I give localhost colon subworld 001 slash console. Okay, then you can see that it will not give you the traditional WebLogic console. It will give you the message that it is depreciated and you have to go for the remote WebLogic console. And this is a link to download the remote WebLogic console. So click on this one. So you will land up on this screen, okay, which is the official Git repository of the Oracle. Okay, now this is an open source tool, so you can download it freely. So you can click on show all assets. And here, if you are in a Windows, you can have to click on Windows. If you are going to install it on Linux, then you have to download the Linux. Okay, I will show you a difference. If you are in a Windows, then how you can run it. And if you're in a Linux, then how you can access your console. Okay, so if you're on a Windows, click on this one. If you're on a Linux, then click on this one. Okay, so I have downloaded in my system. Let me show you the softwares. Okay, so here are the software that I have downloaded, right? So this is for the Windows and this is for the Linux. So I'm going to install it my Windows machine. So double click on this. This is an exe file. Okay, it is prompting for the user. What all for the users you would like to enable it. So I'm going to enable it for anyone, whoever going to use this computer. Click on next. It will prompt you for the location and click on install. Okay, it will take a short of time for the installation. It is a very small tool, okay, which enable you to access the admin console of your system, of your WebLogic. Okay, so now you can see the installation has been clicked. So let me click on finish. Okay, so this WebLogic remote console tool has been installed. So now I am on the Windows machine, so I can go to the programs. Okay, and here I can search for the remote console. So this is the WebLogic remote console tool, right, which is installed in my Windows machine. So click on this one. Okay, this will open your tool. It will take some time to initialize. Okay, so now this is the remote console tool and the first screen that you will see for the registration of the admin server connection provider. Okay, so we are going to register our admin console to this particular tool so that we can have all the functionalities of the admin server should be accessed from this particular tool. So we have to go with the first option, which is add admin server connection provider. Okay, click on choose. So here you can give a name. For example, let me give it a dgprod domain. Okay, so this is the name that I have given to this particular admin URL that I'm going to register with this tool. So as I said, this with this tool you can register the multiple domains. That means you have the functionality now where you can access or manage the multiple WebLogic admin consoles, okay, for the different environments from a single tool or from a single interface. So this is the name that I have given. So here you have to give the username and password which you have given during the creation of the domain. Let me give the same username and password. This is the default URL, okay? This is the DNS of your machine and this is the port that we have given for the admin server by default, right? So if you have changed your admin server port during the installation, then make sure to change it here as well, right? So after that, you have to click on OK. So it is going to connect to your running admin server, right? This is the admin server that we have started. And now here you can see that it is able to connect to this particular admin console, for which we have given the credentials initially. So here on the left side, you will have see the different tabs. This is the edit tree. This is the configuration view tree. This is the monitoring tree. This is the security data tree. Okay, this is almost the same configuration type we have seen in the admin consoles as well. Okay, so but here the difference is that there will be a different navigations for different options. With the help of edit tree, you can able to modify your domain configurations. With the help of configuration view tree, you can see the different kind of configurations. With the help of monitoring tree, you can monitor your WebLogic domain. And with the help of security, you can configure the different kind of a security configurations for your domain, which is traditionally we defined inside the realm in the traditional admin console. Right. So now all these four options which you are seeing here, these are the same as which you are seeing on the left hand side. So if I go to the edit tree option, so here you will see the different options for environment, scheduling, deployment, services, security, diagnosis. These are the all options which we have in the traditional domain. Along with that, here you will have a multiple other options as well. Okay. For example, if you go to environments and then click on servers. Okay. So here you can see you have a admin server here. And this was the one of the managed server that has been created earlier in this particular domain. Okay. And if you would like to create new server, okay, so now because we are in the edit tree, so inside the edit tree, you have option to modify the domain. So this is your servers tab. You can click on new. Okay, and with the help of new, you can create a new server here. Okay, now this is the option how you can create a new server here. Similarly, you can, if you click on the cluster, then you have option you would like to create the cluster, then you can click on new, and then from here you can create the clusters. Similarly, you can see here we have machines. This is a machine that we have created during the domain configuration. If you'd like to create the machine, you can click on the new, and then you can create the machines here. So this is almost the same options that we have in the traditional admin console, right? But here in the remote console, these options are there inside the edit tree. Okay, so inside the edit tree, you can able to modify the configurations of your domains. Similarly, here you can see that this is the deployment tab. Okay, inside the deployment, you have an application deployment. If you would like to deploy any application, click on the new and then follow the instructions. This is almost the same that we follow in the traditional domain, right? So this is the edit tree. Second is your configuration view. So here you will see the same setup tree which you have seen in the edit as well, but here it will be a read only. Okay, here you will not see any kind of a configuration to modify any of the values here. This is only for view the configurations, right? And this is the monitoring tree. So from here you can do the monitoring of a different kind of a services or which is running in your environment. Okay, like the JVM admin server, JVM runtime, and then a lot of different options that we can monitor from here. You can see here what is the free heap as of now, what is the utilization, what is the maximum size. Okay, so there are a lot of different configurations that you can monitor with the help of this monitoring tree option. And this is the security option. So here you can see the realm. Okay, this is the same traditional way we see in the security tab in the traditional domain. So here you can see that this is the default realm, which is my realm, right? And here you have a different kind of options like to if you would like to configure the authentication providers, and this is the option for that one. Okay, and authorization role mapper. So every options are there. Okay, so this is how you can manage your admin console with the help of this open source remote tool, right? So this is one of the major change in the 14.120 version. Okay, and along with that is this is not only single chain. There are a lot of different new enhancement as well. For example, there is an intelligent load balancing features are enabled now. Okay, this specifically a feature which is incorporated for the OHS server. Okay, how the load from your OHS or from the OHS web server will be diverted to your backend managed server, which is specifically based on the dynamic data. That means the dynamic load on your specific managed servers. Based on that, the request will be diverted to the backend managed servers. Okay, and you can have different ways to enable or disable this feature in WebLogic now. Okay, so this we are going to see in the next series. Along with that, many more options. Okay, so let me quickly show you the Linux version of this tool as well. Okay, so for Linux we have a different installer. So here you can see we have a Linux installer as well. Okay, so for that you have to download this zip file, and then you have to extract the zip file in a certain location on your Linux operating system. So once it is downloaded and you have unzipped this particular file, so here you have to see a different files. Okay, so for you to go to inside the backend folder. So inside the backend, you will see a console.jar file. Okay, this is a console jar file which you have to start. That means to access the console in your Linux machine, you have to initiate a different process now. Okay, that means a different Java process or a JVM will be initiated for your console. Right. So this is Windows machine, but I am going to show you how to run and access your admin console. Same process you have to follow on the Linux. Okay. So now you have to go to this particular location where you have extracted and inside the backend folder. Okay. And here you have to run the command java-jar and then console.jar. Okay. So this will initiate the console jar file. Okay. And once this is started, you can go to your browser, and then you have to access the same remote console tool on your Linux machine by giving the DNS or IP address of your machine. Okay, and then the default port is 8012. Okay, so now you can see that this is the web version of your same remote console tool which we have downloaded in the Windows system. And if you're in a Linux machine, then you can extract this particular installer which I have shown to you. Right? After the extraction, you have to go to backend. Inside the backend, you have to run a command which is java-jar. Okay, and then the name of your console.jar file. This will start another Java process in your Linux system. And once it is done, you can go to your web browser and then you can access this to remote console tool web version with the help of localhost and the default 8012 tool. And now similarly, you can add the admin console here. Right? Similarly, we have added in the Windows machine. So you can select the option add admin server. Okay, then click on choose, and then here you can give the name. Let me give it uh, digitalk domain. This is the same way that we have registered in the Windows, right? So you can give for your username and password here. Okay, this is the default URL that we have as of now. So click on OK. Okay, so this will you can see now we can able to register our domain here in this remote tool. So this is the same way the way we have registered in this Windows tool. The same way we have registered in the graphical this remote console tool as well, which we can able to access from the browser. And how to start this I have shown to you when you are in a Linux machine, right? So this is a major change that I thought to have a discussion with you on that. Okay, so now there are a lot of different changes. Apart from this as well, as I said, you have an intelligent load balancing option, and there are lots more options are there, okay, which I'm going to cover in the next sessions. Thank you.